like genetic and there's something wrong with the pancreatic cells, and that's okay. But I will tell you this, more and more research is showing that if you can decrease your environmental burden, just what you're putting inside your body, even within type 1 diabetes, you can help your body respond better and have less crazy spikes on insulin. Type 1.5 diabetes is type 2 diabetes and type 1 diabetes put together. We know type 2 diabetes, which used to be called adult onset diabetes, now everyone has it. And this is the biggest deal. Type 3 diabetes, guys, is Alzheimer's and dementia. People are always shocked when we say that. But blood sugar issues are not just diabetes. Blood sugar issues are metabolic issues. It's things like feeding cancer. It's things like Alzheimer's and dementia. Women, it's about hormone imbalances, and it can mess up your period. So our purpose of this blood sugar summit is to give you the right information, to equip you to go home and use those techniques to transform your life. I'm done with this infomercial, okay, Dr.
Yeah.
So come on, guys, just register at drswarren.com or give us a call right now. I think this is the last radio show. No, we had one more.
We'll have one more before the event. Yeah, one more before the
But the tickets are free. Our summits are really, really popular. Give us a call. Get your tickets, 423-362-5360.
Yeah, and again, you kind of touched on it for just a second. You look at, like, if you still think that you're okay by just taking metformin and dosing with insulin, you're mistaken, because bottom line is, like, you've already got a sick cell, right? Your cells are already sick. They're loaded with all kinds of stress on those cells. Again, by forcing more sugar into the cell, yeah, it's going to lower your blood sugar, right? Because it's getting it out of the blood, it's getting it into the cell. But just because you stuff more sugar into a damaged cell, think what happens over time. And that's why people that continuously stay on metformin as well as insulin and rely on that to quote-unquote manage their diabetes, this is why they have over an 85% greater risk of Alzheimer's and dementia. And again, so you think that it's just a little thing that you're taking a shot in your abdominal fat or whatever. But what you don't realize is every time you're doing that, you are driving the process of eventually waking up in your bed and forgetting your family. You are driving the process of literally one day your family having to rely on the money that you worked hard for, right, to pay for assisted living or a nursing home because you can't remember who anybody is. And so, I hear people joke all the time about, it's just a Mountain Dew once or twice a day. It's just a Coke, that's 3 or 4. But I'm reducing my. No. What you don't realize is you are taking one step closer to forgetting everybody around you. And that's why I care about this. Now, I want you to hear me and hear me very clearly. I'm not telling you that we have to be perfect. Okay? Like, again, I will say the majority of our Thanksgiving dinner that we did the other day was paleo, right? It was fantastic. It was mostly meat, vegetables, all kinds of great stuff. But
I had some arroz con gandules.
Whatever that is, she had it.
Rice and pigeon peas.
There you go. The pigeon peas sound disgusting.
I think that's what they're... Are they not called that?
I
Did I just make that up?
Maybe, but there's some type of bean-looking pea thing. But anyway, I think it's a Puerto Rican dish. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So bottom line is this, though: you can have those moments where you enjoy food, you celebrate life, Thanksgiving celebration, Christmas celebration. That's fine. But people are celebrating the holidays for 3 months, right? On average, what we're looking at in the statistics is that from October, right, to just past the 1st of January, that is what people consider the holidays.
And then there's 4th of July, and then there's Halloween, and then there's Labor Day, and then there's all these other things. But this is the thing I want to say, though, about blood sugar things is there's a season for everything.
That's correct.
And it depends on, actually my family and I, because we talk about this kind of stuff, we talked about diet variation.
Yeah.
And how in our modern American diet, we don't vary our diet. We can eat what we want, when we want it, how we want it, at whatever time we want, even if it's out of season.
Yep.
And our human bodies were never created to eat that way. We're supposed to eat what was available, and if it wasn't available, then we don't eat. We ate, carbs in the winter, and we might eat some more, fruit in the summer. But the problem is that we eat the same way over and over again. And even people that are doing like vegan diets, you're eating crap meat, you're eating all these crappy carbs with gluten and wheat, and you're carb loading, and you're never becoming fat adapted. So I say that because when you have a goal and you want to heal your body, you have to dedicate a season of healing, which is, if your season of healing right now is, that's why we want to do the Blood Sugar Summit in December, is you got to commit some time to healing your body. Once your body is healed, then you can actually have some pizza every once in a while and not die and not see your blood sugar go through the roof. But I love this. Dr. Jason Fong, he did the obesity code, diabetes code. He is a nephrologist. He was the leading researcher for 15 years on how to reverse diabetes in the sense of fasting and cutting back carbs. They used to think he was crazy, and now he's like a big deal. But he made a really great point, and he said, listen, all of China, he's Chinese, he's like, China, their basis for food is like white rice and carbs. But they don't have a diabetes issue. It's because we're toxic here in America. It's because we're carb toxic. If you can heal your body, then you can every once in a while eat these things and not see a blood sugar issue, not see your thyroid go crazy, not see your gut go crazy. So that's the Diabetes Summit, December 9th. What is it? 6:30 p.m. Register at doctorswarren.com, DRSWARREN.com. Or give us a call right now and get your tickets, 423-362-5360.
Yep. And I mean, again, I like to look at it this way. Like you said, there's variation in diet, right? Because this is not a joke. You know, I was over at, was it Publix the other day, and you hear these people that are literally having this conversation. No, she says, no, I'm vegan now. Like, can you just grab those cookies right there? And I'm looking at them like, dude, want to rip out my hair, because this is the thing. Like and I almost can't even read this kind of stuff on social media and stuff like that, because the information that's out there is just so false and so skewed. You know, I what was the new documentary that just came out on Netflix? I don't know. I don't even want to give it credit because it's just junk science. But anyway, it's just the whole purpose of it is to tell you that you know, all meat is bad and that you're killing the planet and everybody else around you, which is totally false, because we actually need animals as a part of our regenerative agriculture if we want to save this planet, you know, from what's going on. But bottom line is again, they're trading out, you know, these fats and the meat and things like that, you know, the animal products, for sugar, trans fat, and damaging food. And it's like, you're the one that's going to end up, right, usually coming into my office after being vegan for 1.5 years and your thyroid shutting down. You're going to be the one that ends up coming into, you know, because you got breast cancer now because you drove your estrogen levels to such a high level. Now, that being said, I'm not saying that every, you know, vegan is not going to do it the right way. I actually have a couple coaching clients who are completely vegan and push themselves really right. And they push themselves actually into ketosis. They're metabolically flexible. They can come in and out, but their diet is so nutrient dense. They literally have 0 processed food in their diet, right? It's amazing, and they're doing phenomenal. So again, I'm not ripping on that if that's your choice, but I am ripping on the way you go about it. Same way with meat, though, right? And again, consuming conventional meat. So one of the things I did want to go over, though, is you talk about, you know, some of the seasons there, you know, and so we're going to go over some of the things that I think are really, really important as you're varying the diet, right? You know, coming up right after the break, because I know we got to take
a break sometime today. Listen, if it was up to Dr. Nathan, he would talk straight, like for 2 or 3 hours. No lie. All right, guys, this is the Wellness Radio. If you want to get set up for the talk, go to doctorswarren.com, DRSWARREN.com. Maribeth is standing by. You can call and get your tickets now. 423-362-5360. This is the Wellness Radio, and we will see you right after the break.
All right, guys. So we've been going over, you know, diet variation today, going over, you know, really it's a good thing to be able to vary the diet. That means you guys just had Thanksgiving, we had Thanksgiving, and we celebrated, had a great time, right? And we did, you know, again, for the most part, I would say we did really good. We've been able to really work with our families in eating more of a paleo lifestyle. But that being said, we ate a ton, we had a great time, but now we're utilizing some of these things that get us back on track, because our DNA and our genes are set up just like our ancestors were, except we live in a modern world, right? So what is one of the fastest ways to get your body back on track? Fasting, right? And fasting is one of those that, again, it seems like is almost like at this point kind of a fad rather than understanding the principles behind it and how to use it appropriately, right? How to actually use it appropriately. So I'm going to go over several different ways to actually fast and to do it well. So here we go. Number one, my favorite way to actually implement fasting is implementing it in a way that again, I think is the easiest way to do it, and that's intermittent fasting, okay? Intermittent fasting is one that I get just about everybody that comes in to see me on right off the bat. Now, there are a few exceptions to that rule, right? If I have patients that are coming in that are, adrenal fatigue, so that means their adrenals are absolutely shot, they are not one that I'm going to intermittent fast, or at least not for long, right? I may hit like maybe a 12-hour window there, but I'm not really going to push it much past that. There's occasionally some other people like, if I have somebody like end-stage kidney failure or something, I'm probably not going to push them, past a certain point. But for the most part, intermittent fasting is a great way to just jump back on it. And so, what is the best hour, that I think to kind of start with? I like to go ahead and hit like the 14-hour mark, right? Mainly because I think that that's a pretty easy, mark to really hit. So if you stop eating dinner at like 7, 6 o'clock, something like that, you can eat breakfast again, maybe around like the 9, 10, or 11 mark, right? And kind of go from there. That's a great way to get started. Now, I have found that some of my patients, especially like some of the older ones that can kind of control, they're maybe not in the workforce anymore or something like that. Like one thing that they love to do is they like to wake up, eat breakfast early. They like to eat lunch and then maybe like a mid-afternoon / dinner, maybe like snack type of thing. And then they fast through the afternoon, evening, and into the next morning.
That's funny. That's what I like to do. Now you're saying it's old people. So
well,
me
if you
and
can
old
control
people,
it, yeah.
we like to do that.
Dr. Rebecca and old people can do. No,
I love eating. I like, because that's the thing. People feel like intermittent fasting has to look a certain way. It doesn't. It has to fit your lifestyle. You just got to put in that break.
Yeah. Oh,
right?
Yeah. And I really think that, but what I was saying with that is that, like, it's more natural to our circadian rhythm. So if you look at our ancestors, the way that you like to do it, because think what our ancestors would have done. They would have been eating during the day, and then once it's night, they're no longer eating.
Which is the opposite of what we do as Americans.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I will say this, man. I'll get people to try to intermittent fast, and it's like what you don't notice is that when your meals are focused on carb for fuel, you got carb, protein, and fat for macros. What that means is your calories are your gas. Where are you getting your gas from? You don't notice it, but when every one of your meals are carb loaded, carbs, sugar, they're going to burn within a 2-hour period. You're going to have this insulin spike and it's going to come down. And without you noticing, the insulin's going to come down. You burn through that blood sugar or you stored it. You're looking for a snack again.
Yeah.
And so when I do a food diary with someone, I have to show them like, look, sugar here, this turned into sugar. No wonder at 9 o'clock at night, you got to have something sweet, or you got to have crackers, or you got to have a snack, because all day from morning until evening, you're spiking that insulin and you're dependent on carb for your fuel.
Yeah, and I think this is something interesting as well, and I think you were the first one to bring this up to me a few years ago. What's the one macronutrient that you can actually live without? And that's carbohydrates. They're not essential. Now, can they be great for health? Absolutely. But they are not essential to life. And so, again, we've got to remember that. So you got to really focus on the other two. All right, guys, welcome back to Wellness Radio. I am your health expert, Dr. Nathan Warren, and I'm here with my beautiful wife, Dr. Rebecca Warren. And so we are 2 days removed from Thanksgiving, so some of you guys may still have your Thanksgiving hangover. You ate
sounds so dramatic.
Whole turkey and crushed the cranberry sauce, which I never understood that. I always thought that was really gross.
What are you saying right now?
That's what happens on Thanksgiving. That's what your brother Joel did too, right?
He did cranberry sauce?
No, I'm just kidding.
I was like,
no, I mean, he
what?
crushed the turkey. He's
Oh,
probably
he did
listening
crush the
now.
turkey.
He's gonna hit me when I get back home.
Oh gosh.
But here's the thing, guys. We're talking about varying the diet. How to actually celebrate life and then get back on track. I think this is really important to know. Because so many people beat themselves up after like a cheat day, after holidays, things like that. Change your frame of mind to this. If you are making health a lifestyle, there's no reason to beat yourself up mentally, right? Because that means the next day you're getting back on track. It's a lifestyle. It's just something that you do, right? But if it's a 30-day thing, you're going to lose that battle.
Which it is a majority of the time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like Whole 30. What happens on day 31 or day 52 or day 61? So you've got to be able to, give yourself some grace and recognize